Hello, everyone, and welcome to this pick a card reading. So today we're going to be looking into your next blessing. Oh, and I just saw a purple orb right in front of me. So there we go, your next blessing. And I want it to be a really uplifting, positive reading, and just to find out how are you being blessed, which area of your life is this blessing coming in, and we'll see what messages Spirit has for you today. So we have three quite interesting cards that came through for this reading: disruption, intuition, and balance, which is also the Tower, the High Priestess, and the Justice card in the Major Arcana, okay? So go ahead and choose which group or groups you feel most drawn to. I'll list the timestamps below, and then I'll see you for your reading. Hello, Group 1. So you chose card number 16, which is Disruption, or the Tower card in traditional tarot. So your next blessing is the Tower. Oh my gosh. Your next blessing, I feel like it will come as a surprise. It will be such a pleasant surprise. This could also be something that you didn't even think was possible, or something manifesting in record timing really quickly, or a sudden turnaround. This will be something that happens very suddenly and very definitely. You will absolutely know that this blessing is here and that it has come into your life. Like, you will feel almost like your life is all of a sudden lit up. You know, like in a night sky, if there's a thunderstorm, then when the lightning strikes, the whole sky sort of like lights up for a moment. This is the blessing. I'm seeing like lightning striking and your whole life is like lit up by this divine light. And this is such a nice energy. This divine light is blessing you. It's bringing blessings. I feel like that Spirit might want to keep a little bit of a surprise or a little bit of a mystery around this. Spirit might not reveal every single thing about this blessing, because I do feel like there will remain a sense of mystery, or a sense of this does still take you by surprise. But it also could be something that you might find sort of unbelievable. Even if I told you about it, Spirit's showing me it might be something like, yeah, we have the third eye here. It might be something that you don't necessarily see as even being maybe available to you at this time or possible for you, but it totally is. Okay, yeah, this blessing is going to come in and almost like be revealed to you. Like, again, I keep seeing that image of lightning, how everything is dark and then the lightning comes in and it lights up the whole sky, or it lights up the whole sort of area that you are. It's such a powerful energy. And so this is going to happen like a flash. It's going to happen quite quickly, okay? Let's get some more information, Spirit. What area of life? Wow. Okay, so it's definitely with Stand Your Ground. This is the Seven of Wands. It's definitely something that you yourself have been fighting for or been wanting to manifest. This is something you've actually been working towards. We have the Sun card, okay? Abundance. I feel like for a lot of you, this would be financial changes, because it's something you've really, really been working for, even for a long time for some of you. Let's get you one more card here. Okay, we have the Six of Swords. We have moving on. Moving on. So for some of you, this blessing might be the opportunity to move on. You know what? It feels like the opportunity to get unstuck, okay? Something that has been stuck in your life suddenly starts to move, suddenly starts to flow. This is a lot of abundance with that light. Yeah, and remember I was saying I saw the lightning, like it lights up the whole room. It lights up your whole life, this blessing. It's going to bring you a lot of abundance, okay? But I still feel there's this mystery here, okay? I feel like there's a mystery here in the way that this is going to turn out for you, or the way that it's going to manifest for you. I feel like right now, if I were to ask you, like, what do you predict that this blessing is from the way that I'm describing it, what you predict or how you predict that it would come through or come in for you, I feel like it would be different than that. I feel like it would be different. I feel like there's going to be an element of the way that this manifestation comes in that's going to be different. Even if you're kind of like, well, I've been working on my business and I really want to have a breakthrough with my career, and I feel like that's what the blessing is. The way that it happens will still surprise you, okay? It's going to surprise you in the best kind of way. But yeah, there's still going to be an element of surprise where you're like, wow, I didn't anticipate that it would come through like this, that it would manifest in this way. Your next blessing is going to be the release of some kind of burden as well. I'm feeling with this Stand Your Ground, something that's been weighing heavy on you, or you've been pushing through a lot of resistance. Maybe you've been having to push through a lot of resistance to manifest something, or to stand your ground with something that you are wanting to achieve. Yeah, some kind of a goal, it feels like something you've had your sights set on, some kind of a goal or achievement or some kind of outcome, or you know that this is your destiny, you're meant to do this, you're meant to pursue this path, and you've been doing this, and Spirit's saying you've been doing this even though you have been facing resistance, or that you have had burden on your path. So somehow this blessing is going to come in, and the way that it's going to feel in your life is that it relieves you from burden. This blessing is going to take a weight off of your shoulders. Like, it's literally going to take a burden away from your life. and your life is going to feel so much lighter. And you know what? It's going to feel like you almost have a whole new life. All of a sudden, this tower moment comes into your life, this huge breakthrough, this huge blessing. And now after this tower moment, it's almost like you see your life completely differently with the third eye. The way that you view your life, it's like you look at your life and you're like, I feel like I have a different life now, even though you have kind of the same life. Do you know what I mean? You're going to feel like you have a whole new life. You've almost had a rebirth in your circumstances or in the way that you are perceiving your life, also in the way you are perceiving what is available to you in your life. Spirit is saying this blessing is an acknowledgement of the hard work. You've been taking responsibility for something. You've been putting in some kind of practical effort. Okay, you've been doing something. For some of you, I feel like this blessing could be happening soon. It could be actually already here because this is your next blessing. So I don't think you're going to have to wait too long for this, you guys. And this might be why it surprises you as well with the tower, because you might have just thought that something was going to take a lot longer to get resolved. Or you might have just thought that, that there was a lot more work to be done, or that things would, I don't know, you'd have to climb up a lot more mountains sort of thing. But Spirit's saying, actually, this breakthrough is going to surprise you because of timing in some way, because of the timing of it, because of how it just suddenly comes in. And it suddenly takes this burden away, okay? This could be the manifestation of financial blessing so that you are relieved from some kind of financial burden. This is the kind of energy of even being able to pay off debts really quickly and all of a sudden not having that hanging over your head. And then your life looks so different and you might be able to start spending the money that you make. This is what I'm kind of trying to say is like your life turns around really fast. Like all of a sudden, you're maybe moving from a place of lack where you don't have enough to a place of abundance where there's more than enough. And your opportunities are all of a sudden different. Instead of having to save or pay off debts or, I don't know, be in some kind of instability financially, all of a sudden your life looks totally different and the opportunities you have look different because all of a sudden you're in surplus. You've got more money than you need. So you're like, wow, I could book a trip. I could buy this thing. I could do this thing. And you're really, really inspired by it. You've been under a lot of pressure or burden for a long, long time, okay? You've been carrying a heavy weight and a heavy load. And I think that this blessing is it's just time for this to be taken away and for you to start being able to walk with a skip in your step. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not carrying like all of this huge heavy weight and load with you wherever you go. There's a release of burden. This could be emotional burden as well with moving on. This could also be that you are released from a situation more quickly than you realize. This could also even be something like a blessing, like you're released from a lease or a contract that you no longer want to be a part of for some reason, and it's much easier for you to be able to be released from this than you think. Yeah, I'm seeing that something about a blessing could be the release from some kind of obligation or responsibility that you no longer desire. You're like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I don't want to have to do this anymore. I don't want to have to stay for the rest of my lease at this place or something like that. And Spirit's saying the path out of this is going to actually be a blessing for you. There's going to be a way that forwards where you can be released from some kind of a contract for some of you. And that's going to act as this blessing because it's going to be a pivotal moment that your life starts taking a new direction. Yeah, you might be moving on as well from an emotional situation that was a huge burden to you. Like, relationships, even workplaces can become really emotional. Something like that might have been really plaguing you. And suddenly there's this liberation. There's this like bolt of lightning come into your life. Maybe you're going to have an epiphany, an idea yourself. Maybe the path will suddenly be illuminated and you'll be like, wow, I can go this direction. I can see. This blessing is going to make you feel like you don't have to do everything alone, that the weight of the world does not rest on just your shoulders. You're going to feel very tangibly like connected to spirit and that you are supported by spirit, the angels, your spirit guides, guardians, ancestors. You're going to literally feel the spiritual presence around you of like, wow, I am safe. I am supported. I am actually blessed. I feel like that part of this blessing as well with that light card, the sun, like literally light is this blessing. I keep seeing light for you. So it's like something that was dark becomes lit up. It becomes illuminated and you can see something that you were looking for, right? It's like imagine you're looking in a dark room, but you can't find something. You turn on the light and now you can see it. Yeah, something that was not illuminated is now going to be illuminated for you. And you're going to be very grateful for this light because you can see something that you really needed to be able to see. It's almost like a key maybe that will move you forwards. So the tower in your context is about liberation from burden. And I feel like liberation from maybe manifesting a lot of resistance, having a lot of resistance in the path of what you are trying to manifest. This tower energy feels like liberation. It feels like you are going to be liberated from a situation. A lot of you, this could be about abundance, right? but this is a liberation that's going to really set you free. And the blessing is going to be that this changes your life in such a way that you really see things differently. That you actually see your life as if you're living a new life, as if you're in a totally new life. And that's going to feel so good. And you're going to realize that not a huge amount of things need to change for our perception to change. I'm feeling like in this case with the Tower, it feels very targeted, okay? This blessing feels targeted. It's like a specific thing that has been hanging over your head or that you've been having burden with or resistance, or it's been really draining you. And Spirit's saying the resolution of simply this one issue is going to free up so much life force in your life. And all of a sudden you see your life totally differently. I'm going to give you an example, okay? Imagine that someone has a lot of debts, all right? And they feel really overwhelmed by it all the time, a lot of stress, anxiety, pressure, depression, all kinds of things, guilt, shame. And then all of a sudden they have some sort of change of circumstances and they're able to pay off their debts, okay? And they're able to suddenly start to make enough money where they're in a different financial situation. And they've just come from the contrast of having this thing hanging over their head every day. How am I going to pay it off? How am I going to get enough money? Where's my money going to come from? And then now they're in a situation where they're debt-free and they have all this money coming in and they're like, what am I going to do with this money? What can I create? I can build whatever I want. And it's going to feel so much better because they're coming from the contrast of having lack to having abundance. So for you, it's something like this where you've had a situation that's really hung over your head, that's really just been with you every day, causing anxiety, worry, dread. I need this to heal. I need this to resolve. I need money. I need, maybe some basic things like shelter, for some of you, you needed your basic needs to be met. So this Tower moment is coming in to bless you and to really free you from something that has been haunting you or plaguing you or burdening you in some way. And you're going to really feel like, oh, I don't have to do everything on my own. It's this feeling of support that I feel like you're going to have from this blessing where you really feel supported. It could be in very basic ways, like financially, you finally feel supported and you can exhale. It's like this energy where you're releasing nervous tension and pressure, like stress. It's part of this blessing is a release of a huge amount of stress from your body and you're like settling into this new life. Like I said, there are new conditions. Suddenly you have money to spend and you're not stressing anymore and you're like, okay, I can get down with this. I feel like you're going to adapt to your new life very quickly. But there is some kind of like, have you ever had like an Instant Pot pressure cooker thing and you have to release the valve and like let out the steam for a while before you can open it up? I'm seeing it's like this. You've been on some kind of pressure cooker situation that's been really pressure cookering you and it's been intense. There's been a lot of stress or tension. And this situation, this lightning bolt, this Tower moment is coming in to resolve that and to literally release you. It's releasing the valve. It's releasing all this built up tension and stress. And it's opening up the doorway to a new life for you, to new opportunities, to a totally new experience of your life. And you're going to feel like it's very interesting to you to observe this. This is a third eye kind of curiosity that's coming through now. Where you're going to realize like, you know what? Not a lot of things need to change in life for there to be like this huge paradigm shift, for there to be this huge change in perspective. You're going to realize that just this one situation having change, just this one situation in your life changing, freed up all this other energy for you. And the funny thing is that it's a targeted blessing because it had to be this situation that changes, okay? It can't be any other, because if you had any other situation, it wouldn't have released you from this pressure cooker energy, which means that it wouldn't have made enough of a difference. You would have been like, yeah, well, it's great to have this thing, but I'm still freaking out about this, debt that I have every single day. So it's like it had to be that. It had to be that so that you could have this change, so that you could have this third eye awakening where you suddenly see your life and all that's available to you. Yeah, this is almost an energy, you guys, of almost feeling as if you have been in prison in some way and then being released from that prison. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? What is all the places that you want to explore? Because you've been refined, you've been restricted in some way, you've been contained. Your energy hasn't been able to be free. And now you're getting freedom, okay? So your blessing is freedom. You're being freed from something that was causing a lot of pain, burden, suffering, or stress. For a lot of you, this will be financial liberation because that sun energy, I just always think finances, but it will be the release emotionally of this tension, the bringing back of light back into your life where things are illuminated, your path is a lot clearer. And it's the recognition as well that you are not alone, okay? All right, group 1, that is the end of your reading for your next blessing. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to check out more of my work, I do have a store where I sell energy healings, light language healings. And if you resonate with this reading, I would really recommend my Clear the Way light language tape, okay? It's great for clearing resistance and burdens and obstacles in our path. I'll link it down below and you can read more about it and see if it might be right for you. But I'm just really feeling that energy coming through in your reading. So, yeah, definitely check it out and see how you feel. If you already have that tape, by the way, you guys, definitely listen to it. I would say listen to it daily for like 30 days and really give it a little ritual kind of energy to it, unless you're already doing that. But I'm just feeling like, yeah, there's something here that wants to be cleared. And it will be. Okay. All right. All love to you, group one. See you soon in another video. Hello, group two, and welcome to your reading. So you chose card number 2, which is Intuition, the High Priestess. Very beautiful energy. I love this card because it depicts the eyes being closed and it really draws the energy and the attention inwards, which is really what the High Priestess is all about. It's about the inner world, our internal world. And almost like there is an energy about the High Priestess of silence. There's an energy about the High Priestess of, almost having her eyes closed and sensing beyond the senses, sensing through the psychic abilities. So coming to your blessing, okay? This energy is very hypnotizing, I have to say. I really feel swept up into this energy. And your blessing, your next blessing is something to do with your intuition and your psychic abilities. I feel like you are actually being granted a new ability or a deepening of an existing clairvoyance. Some of you are already very psychic and are maybe working actually in this field. I feel like those of you who have chosen this group, you are very, very psychic. And, so many of you already know this and it's totally your job or you're totally embodied with this. But others of you, this might be a gift actually turning online more so in a new way or for the first time. This is a kind of abilities of clairvoyance, like seeing images from spirit, having flashes. You know how like in movies, I actually had this happen today, but you know how like in movies, you can always have like a flashback scene where they think about something that happened and then they see it in a new way and they all of a sudden get a download and they read an energy that before that was hidden from them. It's like you're going to be a psychic antenna almost, where you're receiving all these messages. You're almost going to be having so much information given to you that you're going to be decoding. You're going to be able to read all of the unspoken energy that exists between people. You're going to be able to read someone's mind without them telling you what they're thinking. Do you know what I mean? You're really going to be able to read things in silence. Like there's a perception that you have where you can read someone's body language, you can read their facial expression, and you get a whole imprint about what they really are thinking and what they really are feeling. You're very deeply intuitive. And like I said, everyone here is at a different point in their gifts. I feel with this group, all of you are meant to do something with your gifts for the world. Like you're meant to share your gifts with the world in some way, these psychic abilities, or your intuition, your clairvoyance. It could come through some kind of creative endeavor. Like you could be a brilliant writer because you see the images in your mind. You almost see the scenes that you are creating in your mind first, and then you can write them out. Or you might be a brilliant painter or something, and you see the images in your mind first, and then you paint them. There's something here about the clairvoyance, so, right? The clairvoyance, the images that you can receive in your mind's eye. With your eyes closed, you can still see like there's still a whole world, available to us with our eyes closed. And that's where you're getting these blessings, okay? That's the area of life that is coming in for you. It's in your psychic abilities, your psychic awareness. This could also be through your dreams. You could be all of a sudden getting a lot more psychic dreams or psychic abilities. You might be having psychic revelations about people, even getting messages that you're meant to share with others through your dreams. You may be getting visitors from different realms in your dreams or in your meditations. You may also have mediumship abilities get stronger. Many of you already are mediumships. If you have psychic abilities, likely you have mediumship abilities. It is slightly nuanced, but many, many of you would have this. And I feel like many of you are actually meant to start speaking with someone. There might be someone from your past who has passed over. They're a loved one who I feel will visit you in your sleep now. And you will form a relationship. Like you may actually have conversations that you feel like you need to have with this person. This could be a family member or an ancestor or a relative. Or they just could be someone who you feel like there may still be some lingering energy between you both is what they're showing me. There may still be some lingering energy that is needing to be sorted out. Or this could even be someone who hasn't passed over, but you for some reason aren't in contact with them anymore. And there may still be some energies that are being sorted out between you both in your sleep. So, yeah, keep in mind that these blessings are sort of happening psychically. Okay? You're going to have very tangible experiences of your psychic abilities that do feel like magic and that will be very nourishing for your soul. Okay? You're the kind of soul that really needs magic and mystery and, to live with your intuition, in alignment with your intuition. I feel like this could also be a blessing where, for those of you who are not already currently working in the field of using your gifts in some way, like I said, it could be you're a writer, or it could be you're a channeler or a tarot reader or something, a medium maybe. You're definitely meant to work with your intuition, your psychic abilities, or maybe just work with the divine feminine energy in some way, like a divine feminine business, or understanding the energy of the divine feminine, really. You're meant to work as a career in this in some way. I feel like that is just so the energy that I'm feeling, and Spirit is encouraging you to recognize maybe that you are gifted enough. For some of you who maybe feel, oh, I could never do this as my job or something, Spirit's saying you're actually way gifted. Like, you're really, really gifted. Sometimes, like I've experienced in my own life, my gifts haven't necessarily come on all at once. Like, I feel like they're going to open to me in stages. And once I've integrated, like the first opening that I said, like, as I've said, happened to me in 2019, once I've integrated that, I feel like my gifts will get, I will get the next level that I'm meant to receive. So I feel like keep it in mind that you might not know what you are capable of right now, okay? Like I always say, I didn't know that I was going to end up being a tarot reader and an energy healer and channel light language and do this as my job. I never realized this until all of a sudden in 2019, I had my first sort of wave of this spiritual awakening and all these gifts came online and I could channel and do all these things and I had past life recollection and things like this. Very, very magical things happen. So that's what I'm feeling is your blessing. Like, let me be very clear. This is a very significant, this is your next blessing. It's like some kind of a wave, a psychic opening. It's opening your gifts up. For some of you, this might happen in a specific location. Like you might be going to see, I don't know, for some reason I'm seeing someone who might be booking in to see a tarot reader and then maybe being in that person's aura. If you like seeing them face to face for a reading and they're channeling, it could actually activate your gifts. Like it could actually, it's almost like mirror neurons, like how they talk about, we have like mirror neurons where if someone's feeling something, we can actually feel almost the same thing. Or I think they've even done this with, if you watch a dance performance, if you watch a performer and they're dancing, you actually light up in your own brain the same as if you are dancing that same choreography. So there's something here about mirror neurons where it's like, yeah, even watching readings, like watching me channel is actually really activating you. You're getting a lot of activations because you're immersing yourself in this psychic world and in this psychic realm. And yeah, for those of you who are immersing yourself in it through it being your job, Spirit saying this is what you are destined to do. Like, I just feel like you're destined to be the high priestess in this lifetime, to hold sacred knowledge and to share it with discernment through channeling, through writing, through painting, through imagery, through being a medium, a tarot reader, a healer, Reiki, whatever it might be, or working somehow with the divine feminine energies. Okay, so let's get you some more cards to see what is your next blessing. Oh, wow, we have the sacral chakra too. Wow, no way. We have fertility here, which is the Empress. We have the Four of Swords, rest and rejuvenate. And then we also have the Eight of Swords, trapped in fear. And back of the deck, we have power, which is strength, okay? Wow, so the divine feminine energy in your spread is just undeniable, okay? Wow. Wow. Okay, so gosh, sometimes the messages come through all at once, you guys. So where do I begin? I'm going to begin with the Eight of Swords here, trapped in fear, okay? They have their head down depicted in this card. And that card really talks about not being able to see something, like really being kind of blinded to what you have available to you or to just really how incredible you are. This is maybe not seeing yourself clearly even. And then we have the another eight here with power, which is the strength card. And I feel like this is this trapped in fear energy with the Eight of Swords moving into the Eight of Strength. It's like you're moving from fear to strength. You're moving almost from, I'm hearing from force to flow, okay? From force to flow. Because when you're in the Eight of Swords energy, trapped in fear, that is when we might take action from a place of fear or from shame or anxiety, or we're just like, oh, I just have to get something done, like urgency, control, wanting to control things. And it really doesn't often work out very well for us because the energy in which we take action really matters. Action itself is not neutral. The energy in which we take it with matters. So if we take action from a place of obligation because I have to, because I really don't want to, but I just have to do this, then we infuse that with what we are creating. Or if we take action with a place of gratitude and joy and enthusiasm and excitement, then we infuse that energy into what we are creating. Okay. It's really interesting. So, Spirit's saying that you're moving from a place of like trying to maybe force something to happen in your life, or maybe trying to control your life in some way, or trying to grapple with, like, I don't know, it's something about you were in an imbalanced feminine energy with the trapped in fear. It's like you weren't using your intuition in some way, and that's completely changing now. You're moving into a really empowered era in your life, okay? This is like flow state, effortlessness. We have the sacral chakra here. This is like the energy of water, the element of water. And I'm feeling that it's like flow, like things will just flow in your life moving forwards. You're moving more into alignment with your intuition. Maybe, like I said, with your career, like your career is lining up to be more something that you use your intuitive gifts so that therefore you get paid to kind of live a lifestyle that supports your intuitive gifts as well. I feel like a lot of you guys could actually be tarot readers here watching today. For some reason, I keep seeing imagery of this, and Spirit's encouraging you to like do this as your career or live this kind of lifestyle. For an example, if you were meant to be a tarot reader, well, if that's your full-time job, then you can really devote your energy the rest of your time to kind of being in the right frame of mind or being in the right energy to receive messages from Spirit, whatever you need to do to kind of like align your energies. Spirit's saying that Spirit wants you to live and walk a lifestyle and walk a life, live a life and walk the lifestyle of a deeply spiritual person rather than trying to maybe straddle two worlds or juggle two sides of yourself. I feel like you're outgrowing any kind of being able to live a more status quo or like normie kind of existence. I feel like you need to surround yourself in the spiritual, in the magic. And Spirit's saying that the next blessing for many of you is doing this as your full-time job, being able to be a spiritual high priestess, empress kind of receiver of spiritual energy and give that out as your job, like some kind of transference of that. Like I said, it could be art, it could be writing, channeling, tarot, spiritual energy healing, whatever it is that you are gifted with. And you might be yet to find out. Like I said, prior to 2019, I had no idea that this was my destiny. So you may be having a huge revelation coming with this psychic wave, where as your gifts unfold, you just naturally and organically see that this is the path for you, okay? And keep in mind, the Divine Feminine is totally blessing you in your life at this time around. Like in this life, you are being blessed by Divine Feminine energies, and you are 100% meant to work with Divine Feminine energies to really work with flow state and allowing things to be easy and effortless and to flow into your life, okay? Whenever I talk about Divine Feminine energy, I'm always also talking about Divine Masculine energy because they are kind of one in a union. So what I'm seeing is this interplay between Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. I feel like you have sometimes tried to lean on Divine Masculine energies instead of recognizing that it's actually time for Divine Feminine. So for example, Divine Masculine energy is kind of like if it's too much of it, we might try to like force things to manifest, or we might try to force ourselves to be at a certain point where we're not really there yet. And it can be very uncomfortable and can really come from a place of not feeling good enough or fear or urgency or things like this. Whereas the flow state is when we're really trusting in where we are in life and like what we're meant to be doing. And that's where the Divine Feminine comes in and it can ignite magic in our life. I saw this image come to me this morning about Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine union and how it's sort of like the analogy of a bonfire, okay? Imagine that the Divine Masculine is the wood, like all of the timber and the sticks and all this stuff that you need for the bonfire. All of the debris from around the property or whatever that you gather together in one big pile. That's kind of like the work, the structure, the skeleton of something is the masculine. You have to have that. It's like the fuel that you need. But then the feminine is the fire that comes and lights that bonfire on fire and lights it up. And it brings that spark of magic that takes over an energy and it takes over a manifestation. And imagine the bonfire without the fire. You know what I mean? It's just the sticks. It's like, you know, it's just really just not a bonfire, right? It's not the same. But then the fire needs the sticks. It needs the material to burn through to help it ground it, to give it form. And the masculine helps to give the feminine form. It helps to provide structure, okay, and helps to ground the divine feminine. So we need both. It's always a marriage and an interplay. And whenever I talk about divine feminine, I'm not meaning to neglect our beautiful divine masculine energy either, because we have both within us, okay? But you have this extra magical energy, okay? You just have an extra magic in you that's like this extra little sprinkle of fairy dust. When you were born, you got sprinkled with an extra little bit of fairy dust, okay? And you got some extra gifts, and Spirit's asking you to really lean into your feminine energy, because sometimes you're looking at this bonfire, right? Imagine you have a bonfire and you've built it with all these sticks and logs and tree like, you know, debris. Imagine you've built this beautiful bonfire in front of you and you're ready to light it. But if you don't have the fire, if you don't have that match, if you don't have that lighter, then, you know, what are you going to do? And I feel like some of you are kind of like at that point where you're ready to light, but then you're thinking, oh, no, I need to go gather more sticks. I need to build this up. I need more divine masculine energy. And it's like, no, at that point, you're ready for that feminine. Go into that feminine energy, light that up, get that fire, get that magic going. So yeah, there's sort of this energy spirit saying where you're going to finally feel free, where your energy will naturally kind of divert away from trying to force something, okay? Where there's this overemphasis on the masculine, like I said, where it's almost like the bonfire is ready to go, but you're going and collecting more sticks and more logs. And it's like, we don't need more. Let's work with the feminine. Let's light it up. Let's get this fire going. So yeah, you're moving from force to flow, okay? You're moving from force to flow. This is a blessing because everything in your life is going to be so much easier. Rest and rejuvenate, 4 of Swords. This could also be the opportunity, like I said, for a lifestyle change. Like you're meant to live a lifestyle where you are in touch with that energy. See how he's meditating in the woods? Like you need a lifestyle where you can meditate, where you can get into flow state, where you can take care of your needs as a divine feminine energy or as a psychically sensitive, gifted person, whatever you like to sort of call it. So your next blessing is your psychic abilities coming online, like a new wave of psychic awakening. The first wave for some of you, a new wave for many of you where your psychic abilities will be deepening. Many of you, this is also looking like aligning with your work. You're meant to do this as your job. You're meant to really go all into this lifestyle, live the lifestyle of the high priestess, of the intuitive, of the seer, of the healer, of the herbalist, whatever it is that you are gifted with, of the past life reader or the quantum hypnosis or whatever it might be. Go all in. That's what Spirit's really saying is your next blessing. Like you're meant to go all into this and you're going to feel this wave where it happens effortlessly, okay? Spirit's saying you do not have to force yourself to make something to happen, okay? This is going to flow with a lot of effortlessness. We have the 4 of Swords, we have the sacral chakra, we have the high priestess, we have fertility with the empress. I mean, it's just so beautiful. And then we have power here. You are coming into your power. This is how you're meant to be. I feel like you're also, like many of you, are sort of breaking up with any kind of normal notion of existing. Like you're letting go of what's normal and you're just embracing like who you really are. And maybe your path is taking you really off the beaten track and you're like, yeah guys, I'm really going off on my own. I'm going on my wild path. Like no one's really gone this path before. You're meant to do this. You're meant to be wild. You're meant to follow that divine feminine energy. Look, you might really want to check out my tape, Divine Feminine Embodiment. It's a beautiful light language tape. It also has an affirmation tape. It's like both. There's 2 things. And they're beautiful affirmations to really help you work with divine feminine energy. And then the light language also comes through to help ground that divine feminine embodiment, because many of us can have issues with working with our divine feminine energy, trusting our divine feminine energy, or balancing our divine feminine energy in modern day. I feel like you're really being called to center and value divine feminine energy, which is wildness, intuition, maybe slowing down, having a more rejuvenating lifestyle that really works to keep you in alignment with being a receiver of divine spiritual energy for healing and for channeling messages and things like this. And art, of course, as well. All right, everyone, that is the end of your reading. I do hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, the Divine Feminine Embodiment tape, I feel would really support you on your path at this time. I'll link it down below and you can read more about it. And I'll link my store as well, where you can browse my light language energy healings. You can see if any of them might be right for you today. And I'm just sending you so much love and light. Okay, take care. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Balance card, which is Justice, number 11. And it has the angel of balance, the angel of justice here. And also notice on this Justice card, it shows all of the 4 elements depicted with the wand, the pentacle, the chalice, and the sword there, which is, of course, air, water, fire, and earth as well. So all 4 elements, something about this blessing that's coming in, it took I feel like it took you some kind of time. This is not really worked for. This is like a really significant blessing that's coming in for you. This is something that you would have had to work towards, that you will have had to put time, energy, or focus behind. That, yeah, you had to use some kind of will or willpower or choices. You had to make choices to align with this. Spirit's saying that you've done your side in the co-creation of this manifestation. This is a manifestation, okay? This is the manifestation of something that you really have long desired. You've really wanted this. You've really waited for this. For some reason, I'm getting something about it took time, it took patience, it took planning, maybe for some of you, if it was some kind of a goal. Some of you, this might be the manifestation of a relationship or a home or a financial situation. I'm seeing it could be really different for each of you, but I guess we'll get some more cards then to see. But it's something you've been working towards for a long time. Yeah, and I feel like as well, the angels, your guides, guardians, they want to really congratulate you as well on your hard work. There's some kind of a recognition. They want to communicate recognition of your hard work and that they really recognize it. Whereas when you are, like, I'm seeing something about the work that you've been putting in, like you've been showing up without maybe anyone noticing or any recognition for what it is you've been trying to do. Like maybe it's sort of, I don't know, before you get many views on social media, maybe it's like you've had to put your videos out and kind of feel like, oh my God, is anyone even going to ever watch this or whatever? And it might feel kind of a bit vulnerable or a bit awkward because you're putting yourself out there. But the angels and the spirit guides are like seeing this and they're saying that they really acknowledge like what you're doing and that they also enjoy what you're doing. Like there's an audience in spirit more than you realize and that they really enjoy the energy you're putting out into the world somehow, okay? So some of you maybe are doing something like this, or you've had to work towards something that's taken a long time and they've seen it. Like they've seen you getting up before your family at 5 a.m. to, I don't know, get something done, to work on your business or to go for a run or whatever. They've seen this dedication, even if other people on the earth can't see it or just don't have the full picture like your spirit guides and angels and guardians do. So they're showing me some kind of big picture and they want to communicate to you that they can see the big picture. They can see the effort. They can see the time that you're putting in or the choices that you're making that are in alignment, even when no one else is looking, Yeah, you're doing really well, okay? And you're about to be rewarded for it because you're getting the manifestation of a long-held desire, okay? This is very personal. This might even be a private desire for some of you that you've never really told anyone. This could be vulnerable. It's like, oh, I never wanted anyone to know that I've always wanted to, I don't know. I don't know. What could it be? I've always wanted to have my own YouTube channel, but I've never told anyone this. It might be a really private desire that you're kind of like, oh, I don't want anyone to know this, but this is what I want. And Spirit saying you've been working towards this knowingly and unknowingly. Your angels have also been helping you. Okay, we're finally getting some cards. We have the root chakra 111, you guys. Woo! Look at that. Patience. Didn't I say? Yeah. Didn't I? Yeah, it's taken patience. You've had to nurture your dream. You've had to put in a lot of effort before you saw results. You've had to have delayed gratification. But you will be rewarded, okay? Your next blessing is going to feel so much better because you have had to wait, like you've had to put the effort in. Really interesting because I'm feeling drawn into the imagery in this patience card, how there's this growth here. She's sort of growing out of her hand, this seed growing. Then we have the root, the base chakra, which is really about nature and growth. So there's something here that you've had to really nurture. And now you're creating it for yourself. You're creating some kind of, like, you reap what you sow, right? You reap what you sow. And in this case, created this blessing for yourself 100%. Okay, let's get some final cards here. We have the devil. So yeah, maybe it took a lot out of you even. Facing some kind of shadow energy on the pursuit of this dream, on the pursuit of this goal, having to face your own inner demons in a way, aspects of you that maybe wanted to self-sabotage or give up, or that were telling you that you couldn't do it, that you wouldn't achieve anything, that nothing would come of this. Wow. Yeah, it's going to feel, this blessing might be a very significant blessing, I have to say, because I feel like it's taken a lot. It's taken a lot of time. It's taken a lot of healing and shadow work and growth to come to this point of receiving this blessing. So it's going to feel very significant, and it's going to feel all the more significant and all the more meaningful and healing for you to receive this blessing because you had to face some kind of shadow to receive it, because you had to heal something in order to receive this, okay? All right, so the final card here we have is Deception and Envy, the 7 of Swords. Back of the deck, we have Destiny. Wow. So finally the wheel is turning, okay? You might not even believe me. All right, you might not even believe me with that deception and envy, Seven of Swords. You might not even be able to see right now. This probably will surprise you because you've had to get really used to being in the phase of your life where you're just working towards it. You're just working towards the dream. You're working towards being able to have this thing come in. And then when it comes in, this is a huge era shift for your life. This is like your life opens the door to, like, a new chapter is born in your life from this moment, this manifestation. This could be a relationship coming in. This could be the manifestation of a home, like you finally buy your first home, or you buy a new home in a new location. Or it could be something about a business, like something about working, or something you've had to grow. It could even be a garden with this root chakra energy here and the imagery. It could be something you've had to grow and you're finally getting, like, say you wanted to live off grid and grow your own food. And maybe the first few years, it takes a long time, right? You have to have patience doing this and setting up the lifestyle. It takes time before you can be self-sufficient and actually be living off the land. But this manifestation, for example, could be after many years, you finally are able to be fully self-sufficient and you feel this blessing because it took, blood, sweat, and tears to receive it. It took a long time to set things up and you had to be really patient and really disciplined and diligent with this manifestation. But you're finally there and you have this dream come true where you're like, yes, I'm living my dream life. This is the lifestyle I want. And so see how it's this shift in destiny. It's this shift in life phase or life, like your life chapter. It's like a new chapter is born. You're closing a chapter and you're opening a new one. And for some reason, you still aren't quite seeing this right now. Maybe because you're really in the throes of, like, that final chapter, that final page, and that in that chapter is like really good. So you're still immersed in that energy. But there's a new chapter opening up, and it's kind of gonna be opening in a new scene. There's something here where it's like it's going to be a different chapter of your life, and it's going to mark the end of one phase and the beginning of a new phase. For example, we're just going to talk about, say, the self-sufficiency dream. Say someone has been building up their land for, I don't know, like 5 years or something, and they finally get to a point where they can open a business on their land. Maybe they want to open a cafe because they have enough produce to sell, or they want to open up a school where they teach how to do off-grid living and permaculture skills and gardening and things like this, or they open up a community garden or something. And it's like that phase of their life goes from building up something to then building upon that. And it's like, now you can build it into a business. Now you can make it into something where you're engaging the community and you're giving back to your people and you're feeling like really meaningful life, coming from this, rather than it was just always, 6 a.m., wake up, just focus, focus, focus. And it's like something about you had to work really hard. I'm seeing something about you had to work really hard. You had to focus, you had to get up really early, or you had to make time for this, or you had to, like I said, build something over a long period of time, like a garden or a home. Yeah, some of you might have actually finished building a home and now you get to live in the home, right? Exactly. It's that kind of energy. It's like it takes you a long time. You got to build it, but then you get to live in it. And then you have that totally different experience. A new chapter of your life opens where you move into your new home and you built it. And you're like, wow, I built this. There's something like this happening for you guys. It's going to be really special, okay? Or it could be you've been single and then you manifest the love of your life and they come in, and maybe there's a new sense of having a family with someone with the root chakra. This could be manifesting people, okay? Something about this manifestation has been long standing, and it's something that you consciously very much desire, okay? It's not something that you're like, I don't know. It's like, no, I want this. I really want this. This is my dream. I want this. This is my dream. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you've got a dream coming true, group 3. Something is going to really happen in a synchronistic way because we have 111. Really interesting. And Spirit's saying, like, really, you're going to feel like really recognized for the work that you put in. I keep getting this recognition for your hard work, recognition for your diligence, for your patience, for your dedication, and this will be rewarded. You're really being recognized for the hard work. This quote's coming into my head: glory follows virtue as if it were its shadow, by Cicero. It's like, you have been virtuous. You really have. I'm being shown this. Whatever it is you've been working towards, whatever it is you've been focusing on and manifesting, you've really not given up on this. And you really had to face, maybe like with the devil, some kind of really deep fears about this of like, will this, will I ever manifest the love of my life? Will this ever happen for me? Or loneliness, facing loneliness, these kinds of things. You've had to face some kind of deep shadow in order to receive this manifestation, but Spirit's saying that glory follows virtue as if it's where it's shadow. They're tied together. So you've been virtuous, like you've done the right thing with justice. This is your justice. You know what I mean? You've been in alignment. You've done the inner work, the inner healing that you may have needed to do with the devil that may have been blocking something from coming in, or that was just a part of the process in general for some reason. There's something here about the alchemy work of the shadow that was tied into this manifestation, which may have meant that it was delayed, that it took some time. Yeah, because maybe there was wounds to heal. Like, for example, with a relationship, maybe you had to heal from past relationships before you could welcome in this soulmate. And so it took some time to face that with the devil, right? But yeah, there's something here where you're so in the mode, you're so in one mode, like you're so in building mode, right? Say you're building the home, you're so in building mode that you're not even recognizing that you're about to finish, and then you're about to move into this house and your life's about to change and you're about to have a totally different era of your life coming in. Because that's what I'm seeing for you, group 3, is like deception and envy. You can't see this. You've got a bit of a blindfold on, but your life is about to change, okay? Drastically, with the Wheel of Fortune and the Justice card together. And it's something you've waited for. This could also be about connections, like relationships for some reason. This could be life-changing connections, meeting someone and it changes your life. This could be meeting someone. It could be even be a friend. It could be a community member. It could be a business partner. This could be, like I said, a soulmate romance, definitely someone you even start a family with. This could be for some of you, and your whole life is like really going to change. Or it could be, something about your home might be changing. Yeah, like you're moving into a new home. Like I said, with that example of someone who's building their house, but this could just be buying a house, or something about moving in your lifestyle, having a different lifestyle coming up, having a different environment around you. That could be how your life is changing as well. And this could be a blessing, because it's something that's going to really much support you, especially if you have any kind of devilish energies in your environment around you, if you have issues with neighbors or just issues with boundaries or space, or something about in your home environment that you're thinking, or maybe has been highlighted to you recently, where you're thinking, I would really like to move, or I would like a different environment, or this environment doesn't suit my needs or something. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of messages here about home and relocation and moving in somewhere. And again, you might not see how this is going to happen. Spirit's saying you don't need to be able to see how something can happen for you to be blessed. Some of you might feel like you have way longer to go before you would actually receive this blessing, or before you would receive this manifestation. You might be kind of patience, you might be there with your patience ready to wait another decade or something. But Spirit's saying, this might this will come in for a surprise, because I feel like there's just an energy here where this manifestation means so much to you that you kind of don't want to get your hopes up, even if you can't help it. Sometimes there's still a part of you that's like, I'm not going to get my hopes up just in case this doesn't happen, because this is so meaningful to you to have this dream come true. So that's why it's going to kind of still creep up on you and still surprise you, even though you're working on it consciously, even though you're consciously trying to manifest your divine counterpart, or even though you're consciously trying to manifest your home or a certain success in your career or something. It's still going to surprise you because there's this part of you that's not letting yourself really like let go and dream and realize that it's here. But that's because you've been through a lot, because it's taken time. So you've had to kind of reassess your attitude, because if you're waiting for it around every next corner, then you'll drive yourself crazy, right? So you've had to kind of put it on the back burner in some way. Yeah, this could even be a dream or a desire. You may have even put it on the back burner and not even been thinking about it. Like maybe you've just been getting on with single life and enjoying your life and filling your life with things. Well, funnily enough, that's often a time when you do meet someone, when you're enjoying your single life the most. When you have the least resistance to being single, and you're like, you know what, I actually like being single. I can do this all day. I can live, by myself forever. Maybe then you're going to meet someone. So there's something here where it will take you by surprise, but only because there may be a reluctance to really hear the messages and the signs that have been coming in to be like, hey, this is coming in for you. Or your intuition has been like, you know what, maybe I'm actually about to make it, or maybe this thing's about to happen for me. Yeah, I feel like your intuition has been saying something about this, or you've been getting messages from spirit. Just realized we have a lot of major arcana. We have also the energy center with the base chakra here. And interestingly enough, one of them came out for every reading. So let's get you some astro dice to see about your next blessing. Okay, so we have the moon in Libra. Ooh, Libra in the 8th house. It's interesting because justice, balance is Libra energy, okay? Justice is connected to Libra. So it really does, justice does depict the scales of balance, and so does the symbol, the glyph of Libra. So something is really coming into balance in your life. Like, you have been in one phase for such a long time. Like I said, like a building phase, like you've been building a garden, or you've been building a home, or you've been building a business, or you've been building a family, or I don't know, you've been building something in yourself. You've been healing, rebuilding yourself maybe after heartbreak. Even for some of you, having to rebuild out of some kind of a emotional turmoil kind of experience that might have really been challenging. With the 8th house, this is about transformation and growth through facing, like I was saying with the devil card, through facing some of our deepest and darkest fears, or our deepest, I don't know, whatever might be lurking within us. Sometimes there's really surprising things. Sometimes there's things that we kind of know about and we might be avoiding and trying to, like, suppress and things like that. So there's something here about the culmination of a healing process that you've been doing. Like, I keep seeing the shadow work with the devil. Some of you may have been really recovering from grief or loss, or some kind of really deep emotional pain, like that may have just been really a lot to rebuild from, or just the natural kind of, the classic kind of story of an entrepreneur and how they often have really big failures before they have really big success. Some of you may have kind of an entrepreneurial spirit and have gone through those kinds of tests. I feel like, I swear, like all entrepreneurs almost have to go through it as a, it seems like they all have the same kind of stories, but there's something here about you kind of have felt like you're almost being tested, or you had to deal with a lot of failure before you reach success. And that's something that I feel like isn't really spoken about enough, but we have to be willing to fail on our path to success. If we are unwilling to fail, then we are also unwilling to succeed. Okay, this is just my own kind of opinion. Take it or leave it, but it's something that really came to me, and I feel like it's very philosophical. If we want to be open to success, we have to also open to failure. It's sort of the same thing in a way because of duality. And it's really interesting because sometimes we can really find failure almost intolerable on the path towards success. But really, if you ever listen to the people who have been the most successful in society, or, that you may look up to for some reason, they will often have many stories of failure. They'll often have many stories where they hit rock bottom, or where things didn't go out well for them, or they were dumped, or they got their heart broken, or they lost all their money, or they went bankrupt, or whatever might have happened. Homelessness, like really intense things. But when we go through that, we're also kind of like, it's sort of all part of the pathway towards success. It's all part of building towards that final moment where you're culminating into achieving something. Yeah, you might have a really intense pendulum swing in your lifetime where you go from rags to riches. I'm seeing that kind of archetype that you hold. So keep that in mind and know that that's actually a positive thing that's working in your favor. Because if you've experienced some really extreme challenges in life, or, really dark days in your life, then see that the pendulum will swing and you will experience the opposite as well. You'll experience really high vibrational light experiences of, like, really rags to riches. I'm seeing the pendulum wants to swing in your favor now with the Wheel of Fortune as well. Spirit saying that. Because I just feel like you've really been through a lot, and this manifestation is going to bring you into a new era of your life where you're not going to feel like you have to go through so much struggle or dark night of the soul kind of energy. Yeah, some of you may have even had a loss of faith, or like really been questioning, like, what's the meaning of life, struggling to find purpose even at times, because I feel like you've really had it tough, and you've really been experiencing one side of the scale. See, with the balance, it's like there's two sides of the scale, and it's like you've been experiencing one, and the pendulum is really about to swing in your favor, because when things have gone really out of balance in our life, the universe will step in and rebalance things for us, whether we like it or not. But in this case, it's a good thing. In this case, it's a really good thing because things are being balanced in your favor, okay? Oh, it feels so good, group 3. Like, I feel like you really deserve this, and you've been through a lot, and you've had to really hold on. And you've really, your strength is just incredible, the tenacity. So keep in mind that, the pendulum will swing. Failure is not really failure. It's just another part of the success journey. It's just part of the success journey. That's how Spirit's asking you to see it in the past, or what you've been through, or something like this. It's not really a failure. It's just part of success. We have to be open to fail if we want to be open to succeed. It's really interesting, okay? Just think about it. I mean, you don't have to agree, but it's just sort of what I was thinking. So I feel like that's actually the end of your reading group 3, but I do hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to check out more of my work, I feel like I really recommend the Divine Feminine Embodiment light language tape from my store if you resonate with this group. I feel like the Divine Feminine energy would really nourish you, really help bring things into balance, soothe some energies for you. You can read more about it. I'll link it down below. There's an affirmation tape. You can listen to it at night and reprogram your subconscious mind. And there's, of course, light language. Anyway, I'm sending you all so much love and light. I'll see you in another video soon, okay? Bye.